Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, beautiful women within the temple group on my YouTube channel. I hope you all are doing absolutely amazingly well. It's really hot here today, but the sun is so kind of motivating for me personally. This kind of weather always uplifts me, and I was receiving so many, again, beautiful messages and guidance today that I could come and share with you. And eventually the topic I decided to choose is a word that I received in my own personal situation a while ago from God, and that was a word in the form of a question. Do you want to be saved? Do you wish to be saved, or do you wish to be freed? And I thought I'm gonna bring that up because I would like to speak today about two different types of feminine energies, and depending on which one is more available to us, more prominent within our quantum field, the way things will be happening for us within our reality. But before I'm gonna go into this topic, I just wanted to share with you very briefly that this morning when I took Bailey for a walk, I usually take him on a cycling path, and we usually go around 6 a.m. To avoid any other people, because this is the time for me to be with God, to be with myself, to be with nature. I like to do some running as well, you know, to keep my body awakened. And this morning when I finished the run, I sat underneath a tree and in front of me there was this beautiful another tree with so many lemon green leaves. And when I was looking up at this tree, I just felt truly blown away with the richness and the juiciness of this green color. And of course, as an artist, I feel drawn to specific shades of different colors. But from time to time, I also like to connect with nature in a deeper way. I like to give names to the trees. So this time when I was sitting in front of that tree looking up, and all those leaves, like a rain of beautiful lemon green leaves, I asked myself, if I would to give you a name, what name would it be? And instead of a name, what I heard was Green Tara. And I'm not sure if you are familiar with Green Tara, the Ascendant Master Green Tara, but she is a very powerful, beautiful, feminine energy that is available to all of the women as any other master on the healing and ascension path. And there is a very popular, very strong and very powerful mantra, Om Tare Tu Tare Tare Soha. And this is a mantra of the Green Tara that helps to release negative energy, helps to protect you. And because I heard her name as I was watching and just contemplating on the beauty of this tree, fully allowing myself to soak in this feminine energy, literally closing my eyes from time to time and pushing my head through the veil of illusion into the spirit realm. And I started to repeat the mantra Om Tare Tu Tare Tare Soha. I suddenly heard this very loud calling sister, and I knew that it comes from Green Tara. I could feel her presence in that short moment as I was really enjoying the beauty of this green color, green nature. And when she said sister and I allowed myself to swim, it's almost like a pool. Whenever I'm channeling, whenever I am connecting, whenever I am bilocating, what is required from me and from those of you who are probably familiar with this kind of practices is this full surrender, is this flow. It's just allow yourself to go with this guidance. And as I was allowing myself, I exchanged a few words with Green Tara, and it made me realize that this reality, even though it seems so real to us as women, especially those who can connect so beautifully, so deeply, so clearly with the spirit realm, with the divine, we should exercise this ability, of course, with protection, as often as we can, because even though it seems so real, it is only through a nanosecond when we can smash this whole reality, this material reality, and be merged with the spirit realm and receive such a beautiful guidance and receive the healing, because I received some healing from Green Tara today. And we should be, as women, really honoring that, really utilizing that, really implementing that into our daily routines. And that definitely helps to awaken those feminine aspects within us, this ability to feel, this ability to be connected, this ability to channel, this ability to merge with everything, this ability to be connected with everything. So I just wanted to encourage you that if you love to go out into the nature, apart from just walking, apart from just viewing it on the surface, try to connect with your heart, with the energy and the power of it, and invite the spirit realm to lead you and guide you. And I think this is a beautiful practice, especially for those of us who maybe felt more engaged with the masculine or the distorted feminine energies for most of our lives. And this is something that I would like to speak to you about today. If we would look at the two basic different types of energy that we can potentially vibrate, we can say that one will be disempowered or it will be empowered, or we can say one will be the frequency of the divine feminine, the woman that lives in a perfect, beautiful, balanced feminine and masculine within, the one that owns herself, the one that owns her shadow and her light, the one that owns all of her scars, the one that is connected to the white feminine and the dark feminine, the one that owns her womb space, the one that is consciously creating the reality that she wishes to live in, the one that is aware of her abundance, the one that is aware that everything is accessible to her, the one that doesn't need to control anything. Or we can vibrate the opposite, the victimized feminine, the wounded inner child, the one that is scared of everything, the one that needs to control everything, the one that is constantly trying to fill the void within her with some kind of external, material, physical things, and the one that ultimately feels disconnected from her heart, from her womb, from herself, from the divine. So these are the two polarities, right? Now there will be obviously many different results that we could apply to both those polarities of what will be different within the realities that we are creating. But one fundamental difference that I would like to highlight today is that when we are vibrated in this, let's say, divine feminine frequency, when we own ourselves and our own authority, what will happen? The external reality that is nothing but energy, molecules, atoms, that always reflects our own vibration, that always reflects all of our beliefs, will be listening to our commands. And you may think, yeah, but how does it work? What does it mean that it will be listening to my commands? It means that as a divine feminine, empowered divine feminine, you are fully aware that the external has no power over you, that it is always a mirror reflection of you, that if something is misaligned, you are going to find it within you and you're going to release it and heal it. And another thing is that You as a divine feminine, as the one that lives in oneness with God, that is fully aware that there is no grander, no greater, no bigger, and no more powerful thing than she is. Because she's one with God, she's extension of God, she lives in union with God, and therefore anything that is outside of her cannot even compete with her. So when you are in this frequency, and when you are holding this vibration, the queen archetype, let's say, when you will, for example, say that you are now calling in the frequency of joy, you are now calling in healing frequencies to support your nervous system, you are now calling in the frequency of money, you are now calling in the new opportunities, you are calling everything into you, and what is happening, it listens. It listens to a point that you can immediately, that's what I'd experienced, you will immediately start to feel the energy moving accordingly to the power of your word, accordingly to your command. Now, I don't want you to take the word command as, you know, someone that is overusing its power. You can simply use the word. The energy, the reality starts responding to the authority of your word. And of course, it will be completely different scenario with the victim frequency, with someone who is deeply rooted in a victim mentality, because the mirror, your reality, will also start responding to you as the victim. It won't listen to you because you are saying yes to the victim within you. The external will be saying to the victimization of you as well. And then this frequency may manifest as failed manifestations, people who are not being pleasant to us, situations that are difficult, that are causing us distress and are making us feel like a victim in our life. And I'm sure you all heard about the archetypes, and I am sure that for some of you, the knowledge is really deep, and you've been practicing some transitions, some changes within your own life. But I really wanted to emphasize on those two different frequencies, on those two different polarities today, because it is being more and more required from us to really start taking charge of our own energy. And why I decided to bring this topic up today, that it is only and absolutely only up to you which frequency you will consciously or unconsciously choose to vibrate. When we speak about the full surrender, which we did a lot in a recent weeks, for some of us, that definitely was me. What I thought was that if I'm going to surrender everything in my life, and there was a lot of things that weren't working out, if I'm going to surrender everything, God will take care of it and I will be saved. God will do its work and I will be saved. Jesus will take over and I will be saved. That unfortunately doesn't work this way. And the word that God gave me, do you wish to be saved or freed, came to me when I was really struggling with my inner victim. With aspect of me that I wasn't aware of for a very long time. This aspect of me starts surfacing during the period of a very fast ascension that I started to experience. So of course everything had to come to the conscious mind. I had to become aware of certain things that are within me, because I had to release it. But the victim that I started to experience, she was so strong. that I was experiencing on the internal level, almost like emotional tornadoes, tantrums of a 2-year-old, but with multiplied to 1,000 times strength. It felt like she is taking over my mental space, my thoughts, my emotions. She was resisting, she was becoming nasty, she was definitely in pain. She was definitely in a big, massive disconnection, this inner victim inside of me. And it was causing me so much pain, emotional especially. It was causing me so much distress. And I kept asking God, what is it? What is it? Am I being possessed, attacked? What's going on? And you know, when you ask questions, you will start to receive answers in many different ways and forms. So to not make you feel bored with my own personal story, I at one point I was begging God, take it out because it's causing me so much pain. And that's when God said, do you wish to be saved or do you wish to be freed? And at that point, I could not even imagine that I could stand up to something so powerful inside of me. I'm not exaggerating. This aspect was creating volcanoes of emotions that were all about sadness, self-sabotage, self-hatred. It was horrible. It was really scary to me because I didn't know what I was dealing with. Now I know I was dealing with myself, right? But what started to happen when I was practicing my surrender more and more, when I start to connect deeper and deeper with God. And this is what I really want to make you aware of. If you want to surrender your whole life to God, to Jesus, to the divine, we spoke about this many times. Are you the synthetic divine feminine, or are you the one that truly wants to walk this path in authenticity? And I know that because I spoke to some of you, I know that there are some beautiful, brave souls that truly wish to walk this path in a most authentic way. So what it means that once you start fully embracing that surrender, first advice that I would give you, absolutely let go of any expectations on how the matters in your life, the issues, the problems will be handled. This is the first thing that may be creating fluctuation and delays within the surrender if your mind is still holding on to any form of expectations on how God will take me from place A to place B. You need to completely let go and step into that stillness. And I was speaking about that 2 days ago, how to connect more and more to the frequency of the true self. And I was telling you about, you know, sliding down into your heart zone. And for me, it was also very difficult because my mind, my mental space was always very, very busy, was constantly chatting. But when you step into the full surrender, you realize that now when your ego no longer is should stay attached to the past, and your ego should not be busy creating potential outcomes of the future, because you are consciously choosing the surrender to the divine. Therefore, you are detaching yourself from everything, and most of all from any expectations to the outcome. Then you realize that there is not much you need to think about. That's the cool thing. It's a transition and it's a process where from being, you know, overly stuck in your head, you realize that, okay, so what do I do now with all this time, all this space, you know, when I don't have to worry about anything? You focus on your creativity. You focus on being in service. You focus on making new things. You focus on connecting to yourself. You focus on building the connection to God stronger and stronger and stronger. And what I realized, what started to happen, because my ego, of course, and the victim that at some point I thought I will never be able to transmute back into love. What she was constantly saying was, there is no evidence that he's doing anything. There is no evidence that your surrender is working. Where are the fruits of God's work in your life? Very, very strong thoughts, very strong accusations against God. We need to realize, you know, that not all the thoughts belong to us, especially the true self. We need to really learn the discernment, especially that the bigger your mission, the bigger your commitment to God, the bigger the spiritual attacks of the enemy on you will also become. So you really need to be able to center yourself in your heart and completely detach from the thoughts that may feel like they are yours, but they are really not. So when I was having those attacks, those thoughts, where is the evidence? Where is the evidence that Jesus is taking over your life? And that kind of pissed me off. That really pissed me off when I heard those thoughts. And I said, you are not going to push me into any form of doubt that Jesus is somehow powerless, that he's not doing what's best for me. Because what Jesus was doing in that time when I surrendered, he was rebuilding me from the inside. I was suddenly having those amazing light bulb moments when he internally was actually teaching me about the discernment, when he internally was pointing out, this is not your fault, but this thought is so strong and it's taking over your emotions. You are now being fooled, do not follow. So the surrender for me started from him not saving me, but preparing me to be freed. And that's the most amazing thing to surrender to, because finally I start to feel that I can say no to those victimized thoughts. That I do have the power. For so many years, as those internal victimizations were happening, I felt completely powerless because I believed that these are actually my thoughts. And I felt that after the amount of work that I was putting into myself, investing into myself, if I haven't transformed, if nothing is happening, then I must be someone that cannot be healed, you know. And that was another trap that this very toxic victim, the toxicity of the ego within me was trying to create, that I can't be healed, that I can't be free internally. I was thinking about different form of medications and things like that because I thought I am losing my mind. But Jesus was stepping in, and he would never give up on me, and he will never give up on any of us. To help us to find that strength, to help us to find that discernment, to help us to find the truth, that as a divine being, there's no reason to be afraid of it. Whether this is something internal that is happening within you like it was with me, or whether this is something already manifesting in your external reality. And he said to me this morning when I was discussing again certain things with him on my cycling path, he said, now when you are tapping into this frequency of the true self, now when you have access to it, you start realizing that what you've been fighting with for such a long time, because I have been fighting with those distortions within me. I felt literally that I am possessed, or I have some attachments, things like that. He said, you know, now when you realize who you truly are, not only by knowing, but also by feeling and being able to tap into that frequency, you do realize there is no need to fight with it, because you are so much more than this illusion. Because when you start to fight with any form of distortion, whether it's on your internal level, whether it's on the external level, when you respond with fight, it means that you are scared of it. It means that you are still being driven by fear. It means that you are not in the peace of God, driven by peace and love and safety. And you are affirming that this thing that you want to battle with is more powerful than you are. So stop battling and instead redirect your attention, your full attention to the authority within you, to the God within you, and give this the power, or not even give, but acknowledge that the whole power belongs to this aspect of you, this truth of yours. And you will see that the more you will not respond to those distortions, when they no longer can take over your mental state, and therefore they're your actions that are coming afterwards, and then the way you feel for the rest of your day, the less impact it makes on you, the less it's going to surface, because it doesn't need to surface anymore, because it's losing its power over you. And you will eventually go through this process of the dissolution of this distortion, dissolution of the illusion, transmutation of this shadow aspect of self. And it is very, very important, because of course it's amazing to feel fully empowered within every single area of our lives. But we may find ourselves in the situations where we feel empowered in a certain areas, let's say business and motherhood, but we feel more disempowered in a relationship. So those two different vibrations will be popping up depending on what kind of scenario we are finding ourselves in. When we are working, we can feel confident, we may believe in ourselves, we can achieve our goals much quicker. But in different areas, you know, we may lack this confidence, and the victim will be more apparent. It is important to treat every single victim within us really with love, because the bigger the victim, the bigger the pain underneath her is. There are processes that of course we need to allow ourselves to go through during the healing of the victim, like allowing the victim to speak so we can release all this emotional baggage. That especially counts for those who've learned to suppress emotions, that were not allowed to speak about emotions, who didn't know how to deal with them, and therefore we've been squeezing them all into the solar plexus from the childhood. But this is not something I would like to cover right now. It is available in the form of self-study on my website. I'm gonna come and share what other self-studies you can find on my website. Maybe some of you would like to use them in your healing process. Nevertheless, today I wanted really to speak to you to allow yourself this very, again, honest moment where you will ask yourself those questions. You know, where am I being fully dedicated and in an honoring and empowered way to myself? Where do I feel confident with my energy, and where am I still vibrating as a victim? And start the transmuting process. Start observing, you know, how the victim is playing out in your life. If you want to surrender the aspect of your life that is a result of the manifestation that comes from your victim inside, please bear in mind that what may happen once you surrender, you the work that God will try to do for you within you first will be this internal work. So a lot of women would feel discouraged because they will feel, well, I just surrendered, I'm supposed to be at peace, and now I feel all those distorted emotions inside. Well, it's because you need to face them in order to be freed from them, right? We cannot run, we cannot give it to someone to take care of fully. Jesus, God, wants us to be fully in our power to reach our full potential. It's really, really important. And secondly, I really invite you to connect more and more into your femininity and this feeling, those access points that each and every one of us has when we can fully merge with the spirit world. How beautiful, what kind of beautiful messages are coming from behind the veil for us. It helps with the healing. You can actually receive so much unexpected healing from this kind of connections like I had with Green Tara this morning. And this is really, you know, the feminine gift that we come here with. And in ancient times, you know, within the temples, women were actually known as one of the most dangerous species on planet Earth because of the ability to connect to everything that there is. And this has been, of course, you know, taken away from us. It was erased, but they thought that they will erase if they're gonna burn the scrolls, burn the books, create trauma within our wombs. But we came back with the memory of this ability within our DNAs. So I encourage you to connect more with your feminine side through this kind of connection to the spirit. And of course, if you have any questions, beautiful warriors of love, on anything that we've been discussing the past few weeks, feel free to leave them in a comment. And if you would like to book a free consultation, I'm going to leave the link below. I am sending you so much love and have a beautiful rest of your day.